Greetings, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar sponsored by Omicron, a partner of RtDUET software. Omicron's webinar series are designed to promote best practices for the OSIsoft PI System and the best-of-breed layered applications like RtDUET. I am Ryan Boland, your moderator, and our presenters today are Matt Lindsay, Project Manager at Actinium, and Jeffrey Milton, Operations Manager at RtDUET software. Both of them are RtDUET experts. We thank you for joining us and hope you find this webinar both informative and valuable. Today we are addressing best practices around the management of downtime and production slowdown events for users of the OSIsoft PI System designed for the OSIsoft PI System. In this webinar, you will discover how RtDUET helps industry leaders make significant productivity gains, maximize availability, productivity, and reliability of machinery, equipment, and production units, identify root causes of failure more easily and more rapidly, streamline the data collection process to ensure that virtually all events, small and big, are tracked. Our presenters are speaking to us from New Brunswick in Canada, and they will introduce themselves shortly. Before I hand them the microphone, here are a few housekeeping tips to keep in mind during the webinar. The presentation should last approximately 30 minutes, followed by 10 minutes of Q&A. If you have a question, please submit it using the chat window on the right-hand side of the screen at any time during the presentation. We will answer all of them at the end. Unanswered questions, if any, will be answered by email after the webinar and shared with all the attendees. We will also send you an email with a link to the presentation as well as a link to the recording of the webinar in a few days. After the presentation, please give us your feedback so we can make this experience and subsequent webinars even more valuable. Thank you for your attention. Now it's my great pleasure to introduce Jeffrey and Matt to all of you.
Thanks for the introduction, Ryan. As Ryan mentioned, my name's Jeff Milton, and I'm the Operations Manager here at RtDUET Software. And I'm joined today by my colleague, Matt Lindsay, who is a Project Manager and Subject Matter Expert with Actinium. I'd like to thank everyone for taking time out of their busy schedule today to join us for this webinar. So why are we here today? We're here today talked about the importance of tracking downtime in your mining operation, as well as an approach to downtime tracking using best practices and a commercial downtime tracking solution that leverages your investment in OSIsoft PI. Two of the top business challenges that we hear a lot from our clients are increasing their efficiencies and decreasing their waste. How can they increase their efficiency either by getting more production out of their existing processes or getting more out of their existing people? What can they do to decrease their waste, whether that's wasted time dealing with unplanned downtimes or better management of their process inputs and outputs? Having timely and accurate downtime data will help address these challenges, thereby leading to greater financial results. Well, how will a downtime system actually help to address my business challenges? Well, a good downtime system will provide you with the data to quantify your downtimes and the ability to add meaningful context around those downtimes. Having downtime events with the proper context allows you to concentrate your resources on eliminating the root cause of your top offending downtimes, and using downtime data to help you understand your asset health will also allow you to do some preventative maintenance on those assets, thereby reducing your need for capital expenditures. With downtime data, you can see where your bottlenecks are in your process and allow you to adjust the process to make better use of your production inputs. A good downtime system should provide you with the data you need to make these decisions. What are some of the best practices when it comes to downtime tracking? Well, it's important to have a standardized approach to data capture across your site, and this will allow you for better reporting. Having reason codes that are well-defined and meaningful, as well as a well-defined time usage model, will allow you to better drill in to the root cause of your downtimes. What KPIs do you need to manage your operation? Make sure they're well-defined and standardized across your operation. And downtime tracking needs to be implemented as a solution, making sure the proper time is spent upfront to ensure all the recommended best practices are considered. So we're here today also to talk about a downtime solution called RtDUET. This was developed by a company called RtTech Software. The solution runs on top of OSIsoft PI and AF. One question we hear a lot from prospective clients: why do I need to purchase a commercial solution? Can't I just build my own? Well, we feel that there are a number of reasons you'd want to consider a commercial solution over a homegrown solution. First of all, RtDUET is professionally developed and maintained and has been available in the market since around 2003. The driving force behind the software's growth over the years has been our clients and their experiences. The software is continuously updated with new features, and to keep current with OSIsoft PI, we typically have a yearly major feature release, and this release is primarily driven by feature requests from our clients. We also have a dedicated support team that's available to provide technical support and assistance to our clients, and our solution allows for a rapid deployment, and this will result in quicker ROI than if you were trying to build your own solution. So RtDUET will allow you to take your plant data and turn it into actionable AF event frames. So much like the screenshot shows in the left-hand side of the screen, you see your plant data and process book. RtDUET will take that data, turn it into AF event frames, and then using our RtDUET tools, much like the website that's shown in the bottom right of the screen, we use those tools to add additional context around those downtime events. Now that you have the data, you can report on and analyze the data to help you better understand your downtimes. This is a high-level diagram of the architecture of RtDUET and where we sit in relation with OSIsoft PI and SQL Server. As you can see at the bottom of the screen, we have field devices, PLCs, sensors. These are connected through interfaces to OSIsoft PI. RtDUET doesn't connect directly to any sensors. We let PI look after those connections. RtDUET sits on top of PI. Actually, the back end for RtDUET is OSIsoft AF, and we have 5 components that we install when RtDUET gets installed. The red ones on your screen are Windows services, and they run in the background, and the 2 green boxes are applications that the user would interface with. I'll spend a few minutes and go through the engines first. So the calculation engine is a service that's continually looking at your PI tags and using trigger logic to determine if something is in a downtime or a slowdown state. The KPI engine uses all the downtime events that were created by the calc engine and generates your KPI numbers. We produce 16 KPIs right out of the box, but can configure the system to produce pretty much any custom KPI that you may need. The data sync engine takes all the RtDUET data that's stored in AF and syncs it out in real time to SQL Server database. And then we have the 2 green boxes, which are interfaces that users would interact with. The toolkit is the application used to configure the system, such as your reason tree, time usage model, triggers, asset hierarchy. And the web interface is the tool that's used by the majority of our users. It's where you do all your event maintenance as well as visualize your KPIs. Then we see above that in the diagram that RtDUET actually is syncing the data out to SQL Server. And the reason we do that is we allow you to use reporting tools such as Power BI, Tableau, or Excel to report on this data, and possibly combine the RtDUET data with other systems such as an ERP. Now I'll pass the mic over to my colleague Matt Lindsay to continue the presentation.
Thanks, Jeff. I'll be taking you through some of the main features of RtDUET. The main operator interface for acknowledging and coding events is in the event page. It allows the operator to easily identify new events and proceed to apply context to them using a standardized tree of reason codes. The associated time usage model allows you to classify each of the reason codes into a delay type, facilitating the generation of standard KPIs, such as availability, utilization, operating efficiency, and more. Leveraging the power of the OSIsoft PI system and event frames allows for the application of custom attributes to your events, give you more context and the ability to further analyze the events. Lastly, The ease of data export allows you to interface the RtDUET data with other reporting platforms to generate advanced analytics and business intelligence. Here we see an example of a reason code tree on the left-hand side and the corresponding time usage model on the right. The reason code tree is pre-configured to ensure a standard list of reasons are defined for the operator so as to ensure consistency between users. This eliminates those broken gearbox and gearbox broken type of reasons from appearing in your reports. The reason code tree is customizable, but usually arranged in a logical format similar to the plant layout to allow the operator to choose which asset or area or process is caused the delay event to occur. As the operator chooses the reason code on the left, the corresponding time usage code is automatically selected. This means your operators don't need to worry about picking which category the downtime should be placed in. These time usage codes are then used to generate the standard KPIs for your asset. Since RtDUET sits on top of the OSIsoft PI system, we can leverage the power of Pi to gain more functionality out of RtDUET. Custom attributes allow for greater context to be applied to the downtime event by including other data from your PI system. When reporting or analyzing the downtime data, the custom attributes enable you to further slice and dice the data to reveal true root causes of downtime. Imagine answering questions such as, at what tonnage do we start to see more plug-ups? Which product spec generates the most operational delays? Does ore hardness impact our MTBF? By including these custom attributes from the PI system into your downtime events, you can begin to start answering these questions. RtDUET can also take advantage of your PI system data by using PI tags to auto-code your events. Through a series of logic statements, RtDUET can preload the reason code into the event frame if the data is available in PI. This can significantly reduce the time and effort required to classify downtime events by your operators. Here is an example of the RtDUET events page. This is the primary user interface for the operators to identify and classify events. Across the top, you'll find the date and time modifier, as well as a trend showing when the slowdown and the downtime events have occurred. Below that, we have the events table. The various colors represent the different stages of validation. If desired, a validation process can be implemented, allowing events to be edited by the operator and then validated by the supervisor. You'll see here the system automatically captures the start and end time of the event and then calculates the duration. The reason and time usage code are either manually entered, which we'll see in a moment, or auto-classified. Finally, on the end, we see two custom attributes, dollar cost and lost tons. These are calculations based on the duration of the event and the expected throughput at that time. This tries to more tangibly quantify the impact of these downtime events. Here we have a little animation to visualize the event capture process. We have a little SAG mill running, and then our PI tag indicates that the mill is stopped. The system records the stop time. Once the PI tag indicates the mill is started again, the runtime is recorded and the event is closed. This triggers the event to appear in RtDUET events page and allows the operator to classify it. Here we have a similar animation showing a slowdown event. In this case, we see that the event is generated when the SAG mill throughput drops below the slowdown threshold, in this case below 200. This will register a secondary event. The event duration is captured in the same way a primary or a downtime event is captured. However, it also considers the rate loss in determining the weighted or equivalent duration. For instance, if the target rate was 400 tons per hour and the mill ran at 200 tons per hour for 1 hour, this would have the equivalent throughput impact of being down for 30 minutes. Thus, a weighted duration of 30 minutes would be accounted for this slowdown event. This allows you to compare the impact of slowdown and downtime events against each other. Here we see the operator proceeding to classify the event. First, they find the event in question and select the Edit button. This pops up the event window where the operator can start drilling down through the reason code tree to arrive at the appropriate classification. As you can see, once they have selected the reason code on the left, the time usage code on the right is automatically selected for them. Once the Save button is clicked, the event window closes and reveals the reason code and time usage code in the events page. You'll also notice the row turned blue, indicating the event has been edited. Custom attributes are automatically calculated and included without any interaction from the operator. Finally, we just wanted to touch on how easily the data in RtDUET can be exported to another program for advanced analytics or reporting. All the data generated by RtDUET is being stored in Microsoft SQL tables. So any application that can interface with Microsoft SQL can easily grab this data. As well, since RtDUET is fully integrated with the OSIsoft PI system, we can leverage the PI user tools to analyze or display RtDUET data as well. This includes PI Asset Framework, Data Link, PI Vision, and Process Book. As mentioned earlier, RtDUET is best implemented through a solution approach, meaning we won't simply drop off the application and hope you figure out how to use it. We take a 4-step process to implementation, which we start with an upfront workshop to understand your specific requirements. Define the time usage model and the KPIs, build out the reason code tree, and then define any custom reporting requirements. Based on the resulting configuration document, either remotely or on site, we'll perform the system installation and configuration. Finally, we'll come to site and perform a training session with the end users, who will be classifying the events, as well as the ones who are extracting the data and performing that analysis. Additionally, 3 to 6 months after implementation, we facilitate a workshop to help analyze the data and identify some of the low-hanging fruit opportunities for asset improvement. As well, we will work with you to further refine the solution based on feedback from end users since implementation. I'm going to hand it back over to Jeff now, who's going to take you through some of the use cases that RtDUET has been applied in.
Thank you, Matt. I'm just going to continue on here. We've got a couple use cases we want to go through. The first one I'm going to talk about is Rio Tinto. So they're Argyle Diamond Mine in Australia. They were actually one of our early adopters when we deployed our first AF version of the software. Now, they had a number of challenges that they were facing at the time, but their main one that they came to us about was they had an in-house developed system, and the main developer for this system was leaving the company. And they were also trying to use a system that was behind on technology and very user input heavy. They came to us and we worked with them and we implemented RtDUET and quickly started to accurately capture downtime data. They were then able to use RtDUET to provide context around the downtime events so they could better understand their production delays. By using RtDUET, they were able to automatically capture and report 90% of their errors with no user input. And because the data was accurate, they spent less time investigating downtime events. Our other use case we want to go through today is a mining company, Barrick Gold. They first implemented RtDUET in their mine in the Dominican Republic. At the time, they didn't have a computer system for tracking downtime. They were doing some manual tracking, but they didn't have a system. And because of that, they were facing a number of challenges, such as eroding margins, unknown production loss areas, and their production loss was inaccurate based on the fact they were using manual approach. We worked with them and we implemented RtDUET on top of their existing PI system, and immediately they were getting automatic downtime events generated. Then they added the proper context to the downtime events that were generated, and this allowed the system to automatically generate their standard KPIs. By using RtDUET, they were able to significantly increase the data accuracy that they were getting, and they were able to use this data to assist them in future project justification. Now I'd like to wrap things up and quickly summarize the benefits and advantages of using RtDUET for your downtime tracking and KPI generation. I know we've mentioned this a few times, but our solution is built on top of OSIsoft PI. So we know the data we're getting is accurate and it's in real time. RtDUET brings significant business benefits by allowing you to tackle your business challenges head on. You get access to the downtime events in real time and the visibility you need to tackle those challenges. Our solution approach allows for a structured implementation and a rapid payback. You'll start seeing your downtime events as soon as the system is started. The data that we collect around the downtime events gives you visibility into your process and allows you to use business intelligence to improve these processes. And because we're tied to OSIsoft, the data in RtDUET is accurate and your downtimes can be tracked to the second. Also, as we mentioned earlier, we take a solution approach to implementing RtDUET. As Matt mentioned, we just don't hand you the software and let you figure it out. We will work with you through every step of the way of the implementation. I know we've also said a few times that we feel one of the biggest advantages that we leverage is the power of PI, and we provide you with more value to your current investment that you've made into the PI system. We've had many successful deployments in the mining sector. Some of our earlier customers were mining companies who continue to use our software and expand its use throughout the their own organizations. RtDUET is a professional software package. It has a dedicated support team to assist our customers when they need it, as well as a dedicated development team that is continuing to advance the product forward. And we also work with local integrators like Omicron, who can provide subject matter experts in integration services closer to your location. Again, we'd like to thank you for your time and joining us on this webinar today. I'm going to pass the mic back to Ryan, and we've got some questions possibly and a wrap up.
All right, thank you both, Jeffrey and Matt, for the great presentation. We do have a couple of questions. I'll go through them. If anybody else has any other questions they would like to ask, we ask that you go ahead and ask in the chat window below, and we'll try and get through it as many as we can. First one is, what is the most common benefit new RtDUET customers get during the first implementation?
Hey Ryan, I can field that one. As you saw in the use cases, a lot of the first benefits is around the data accuracy. So they'll find that moving from a paper-based system or maybe an Excel-based system, that they'll get an increase in data accuracy. A lot of these manual systems, they'll be maybe only tracking downtimes greater than 5 minutes, or maybe they're not tracking slowdowns. So the first real benefit is that we start capturing those downtime events to the second and start putting in some of that logic to get some of those slowdown events out. So that's usually the first benefits that we see.
Okay. How are event frames configured and read from RtDUET?
I'll take that one, Ryan. This is Jeff.
Okay.
So actually, RtDUET has its own calculation engine that actually builds the AF event frames. So the event frames are built with our proprietary software using trigger logic that is configured in our toolkit and PI data. It determines and it builds those event frames. Then our users would interact with those event frames through our website. All of our interactions are through the PI SDK, so we're directly dealing with the AF data. We're storing all of our data directly in AF. I hope that answers the question.
How long does it take to deploy?
Yeah, it's Matt here. The deployment process, it can depend on the size and the complexity of what we're installing, how many assets we're trying to capture. I can say in a standard implementation, the from the time that we've decided to do that initial configuration workshop, you're looking at like a 3 to 4 week time period, getting the inputs, doing the configuration, getting on site to do the training. That is usually like a 3 to 4 week process to get you kind of up and running. That fourth step where we come back at a later point to do the kind of the rapid improvement workshop, that's usually a little bit farther down the line once some data has come into the system. But to really get you up and going, we're looking at.
Okay. How is RtDUET licensed?
All right, Ryan, this is Jeff.
Right.
I'll take that one. We have a number of different ways we license the product. I guess at its lowest level, we would license it. We call it a machine center. So it's basically the level that you're going to do your KPI reporting at. It can be a piece of, it could be an asset. It could be a line if you're reporting your KPIs on a line. It could be a site if you do one KPI for the site. But that's the lowest level, and then we have other levels above that. We have licensing for site. So usually when you get to about 30 asset or machine at a particular site, we would move you to a site license. And then if you get to 5 sites, we have something called an enterprise agreement that you can then basically run as many assets across your enterprise. A site license would allow you to run as many machine centers within that one site.
Besides PI and AF, what OSIsoft components do I need?
Okay, this is Jeff. I'll take that one as well. So besides those 2 components, you're going to need a PSA license so that you can run a third-party tool, and that's about it. You install our components either on the same server, or there's a number of ways it can be installed. But as far as licensing from OSIsoft, you'll need the PI AF and the PSA license.
All right.
And obviously enough tag licenses to accommodate what you're trying to do with RtDUET.
Can I implement custom KPIs?
Yes, absolutely. Custom KPIs can be implemented. As I mentioned, we do 16 when you install the software, but we track, I'm going to say, a few hundred attributes around the downtime events, and we can use any of these attributes as well as your PI data to generate custom KPIs. We have a number of customers who maybe have a different flavor of OEE or one of the other KPI values that we normally generate, and we can customize the system to work and generate those numbers however they need to see them. And again, it requires no code changing. It's done through configuration.
If I am not using AF now, what effort is needed to start using RtDUET?
Hey Ryan, it's Matt here. So
Hi.
the nice thing about RtDUET and the toolkit is that you don't need any previous experience with Asset Framework. The toolkit is kind of a user interface that does all the Asset Framework manipulation for you. So as long as you have a PI system that is a version that has Asset Framework installed, you don't necessarily need to be an Asset Framework expert. Using the toolkit is actually pretty intuitive and does all the Asset Framework work for you.
Okay. Jeffrey, Matt, on behalf of all the participants in Omicron, we thank you for taking the time to participate in our webinar series on the best practices and best of breed applications for the OSI PI system. Anyone interested in continuing this discussion, explore RtDUET and discuss best practice around managing downtime and product slowdowns in mining and metallurgy using the OSIsoft PI system can contact the speakers of the sales team at Omicron, which can be reached at rtduet@omicron.com or RTTech Software directly at sales@rttechsoftware.com. There we go. Sorry about that. We'd like to thank you all for joining us, and do not forget to rate your experience as you exit the webinar. Your feedback is important to us.